Hello, everybody, and welcome, and thanks for sticking around to hear about Conform. I am super excited to tell you guys about Conform Medical. We are in the cardiac arrhythmia space, which is a huge $8 billion market, and you're going to see why, what sets Conform Medical apart. So the compound annual growth rate is 8.8%. This is reported by our friends, LSI, a few months ago. However, this is going up to 11.25%, if you can believe it, and that is really because of the adoption of PFA ablation. It's safer, it's faster, it's better. Not only that, the fact that people are starting to monitor their own health is also helping with this. As you can see here, 10.5 million people affected with cardiac arrhythmia. Some other stats for you. VTAC, over 450,000 deaths. So the gold standard for this is cardiac ablation. But there is still a problem with cardiac ablation. And that problem is there's multiple catheters that are needed to provide this service. There's multiple mapping catheters in different shapes and sizes and multiple ablation catheters. Then there are catheters that can only fit in the atrium and catheters that you can only use in the ventricle. What we've done is we've combined everything into one. And we have one catheter that's going to map and ablate both the ventricle and the atrium. And it's going to conform to any chamber. Before I tell you how we're doing that, I'd like to talk about today's products' limitations. So today's products are still made with nitinol. Now, nitinol is a phenomenal product, but it's nickel titanium. And for this application, it is somewhat inferior. It's 1,000 times more rigid than our solution. And at times, you have fixed sizes and shapes. As you can see here, you've got focal point catheters that are 9 millimeters in diameter trying to cover the atrium, which range in size from 38 millimeters to about 42 millimeters. It's going to take a while. The analogy I've been using is it's having a very small paintbrush in a huge room and trying to paint that room. So the way we've changed that is we have replaced all of the nitinol with medical-grade polymers, and we've put electrodes on the exterior walls of these polymers. The inherent force of this device is an outward force, and you can see here with the strategic hinge points that we've put in our polymer, it is now able to conform to absolutely any size, any shape, any chamber. And this is huge for us. When you change the material, you have a paradigm shift. I know because I've done this before. We did this with another balloon catheter where we went from nylon and polyethylene to composite material. We got the same results. Keep that in mind. You change the material, you get a huge paradigm shift. No one has done this yet, and we're the first ones doing this, and we've had really fabulous results with this. Just to show you how small we can get to about 6.5 millimeters, which is really incredibly small to cover pulmonary veins for PVI, and then we can expand to a whole 65 millimeters to do complete chamber mapping for the atrium. There's a few more pictures there on the bottom. How do we compare to some of the other players on the market? So we're the only ones on the market currently that do whole chamber mapping. We have active conformability to any chamber. Remember, your chamber is like your fingerprint. They're all slightly different. So, using rigid catheters is beyond me, actually. Pulmonary vein mapping, collecting electrograms, and you can see here we have 80 electrodes on our catheter. The more electrodes you have, the more information you're essentially picking up. So let's talk about ablation, PFA ablation. We're going to have the ability to deliver different types of lesions. And the reason this is important is because you want to be able to deliver different lesions for different types of arrhythmia that you're dealing with. We can do linear, we can do single shot for pulmonary vein isolation, and we can do focal point lesions. Here's a comparative analysis or comparison for ablating catheters that are on the market. As you can see, what's going to really differentiate us from these guys is the COGS. We don't have any nitinol in our catheter, and that really reduces the cost of our catheter, and that is huge in terms of COGS and scalability. Again, focal, linear, and single shot for pulmonary vein isolation. There's additional benefits, right? So when you reduce the procedure time, you have faster recovery rates, the procedure cost goes down, you're not using as many catheters, air emboli is reduced because you don't have catheter exchanges, less time in the atrium or ventricle reduces complications, but you can see here, the big one here that I've heard doctors tell me about is for VTech. This is a clinician-induced arrhythmia. We have the capability to, because we can do rapid mapping, to shorten the induction time so the patient doesn't become hemodynamically unstable. So this is a huge one for us. Here's some preclinical results that we've done with the animals. We've been in the atrium and the ventricle. We've seen great results here, no adverse effects. This is some of the important KOL feedback we've received from some of the doctors out there that we've showed this to, and that they've looked at this, and we've got really positive feedback, and we're definitely moving forward. So we have been bootstrapped thus far. We've raised $2.3 million on government grant funding. We have strong IP. We've done a FTO and infringement search that concluded with no findings. And we are raising a small amount, and that's really going to help us strategically hit the next set of milestones. Here's just a comparison of what this space has produced in the last 12 years. The last one was Cortex CP, which was acquired by Boston. Thank you very much.